This is Batman Revenge of the Joker. Is it Revenge or Return? Return, good lord. Return of the Joker. Labeled broken. This was gifted to me at the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo, and they said it is a donation for the purpose of open cart surgery. He's tried before, couldn't get it to work, handing it my way. I want to try to get this working because it is such a great game. I know recently we had the cart from Gabo that I blew into it. It probably worked. It just didn't work on his side. I have no idea how these things work. I don't know. But this one is even labeled broken, so we're going to try it again. I know it's kind of a, same game twice in a row, but this one's different. Where's my light? Kitchen light. There it is. Look how clean this copy is. I want to get this working. The problem with this game, however, it's on a specific board that I can't just do a board swap if it doesn't work. The only game that this is compatible with is Gimmick, and I'm not ruining a gimmick for this game. This game's great, but it's no gimmick, let's be honest. So, let's see what we can do by opening it up. And again, he said that he's tried a few things, couldn't get it to work. We'll do what we can in this video. A little cleaning, a little one-up card, little bright boy. Nice and easy. Been doing this series for a while on my channel now, so if this is your first time watching open cart surgery, my goodness, I've been doing this for like 6-7 years, something like that. I don't know. There's over 100 videos though, so a lot you can binge. Decent success rate, not all of them are wins, but had a great time at the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo, so make sure you check out that video too if you haven't done so already. Alright, it does look pretty clean here. So here's what it looks like, and look how nice and shiny that is. So it could be anything, I don't know. Well, we'll try a couple things anyway, just to see. Just to see. Well, let's at least start with the one-up card. These are one-up cards. There's a flu side and a dry side. This one's pretty grungy, but it still works. Little rubbing alcohol here. Little isopropyl alcohol, if you will. The fluid side is what we want. You can, these cards are made for fitting right into the cartridge. I do have a link to purchase yours from the Amazon store. It's actually not my store. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's my referral link, but it's another guy who makes these. I don't make these personally. I just happen to use them. But I know the guy who makes them, and he's a good dude, so happy to support his cause too. All right, just a little bit like that. We're gonna pop it in and just see if that works. I mean, hopefully it does. Fingers crossed. So to prove this is working, here's Anticipation, just because it was the game I had laying around. All right, so we got Anticipation. And if I was smart, I would have posted one of my own games saying, hey, look, here's a game you can buy right now with the Shopify links below. But here we go. So got this going here. And I do have those links. You got some of my games over there. Come on, get in there. You can pop it in like this. Try to hold the camera and do this. There we go. There we go. All right, here we go. It's going to work now. No, it's not. Joke's on me. No, it's not. Okay. Let me double check a couple of things. Capacitor doesn't look like it's blown up. Capacitor probably wouldn't matter so much in a top loader because kind of, I don't know. I've had games not work even though there's no capacitor there at all. It's all right though. If you're wondering why I have usually I film without the AC on. It's 107 degrees in my town right now. I live on the desert side of Washington State. You think of Washington, you're like, oh, Seattle, trees, rain. Yeah, well, that's the Seattle side. That's the east, That's the west side. I live on the desert east side. We will go for the Bright Boy next. Just a brass polisher. A lot of people vote against using this, and for all the right reasons. I just want this game working again. It's already not working. See what we can do here. So just a little dab on those sides there, even though it looks super clean. This is going to kind of remove like the slightest layer maybe. I don't know. I'm not a chemist. I just know that this stuff works a lot better than Brasso, that's for sure. And it already looks like it's doing a few things here, but again, could be anything. I'm just using a Q-tip here to kind of clean this off. I am going to take it back through, even though I'm going to use the dry side now to remove any residual. I want to take it through again with the one-up card just to be extra safe, extra careful. Boop, 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 boop. Beep, 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 beep. Bunch of conventions coming up. The next convention I'm going to be as of filming this is the Utah Retro Game Swap in Layton, Utah, about half an hour north of Salt Lake City. Looking forward to that. That's coming up on September 9th, end of September, September 30th through October 1st. I'm in Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Retro Game Expo. The weekend after that, I'll be in Syracuse for the Retro Game Con, one of my favorites. I'll be there with Metal Jesus. It's going to be a fun time. And then the third weekend, Portland Retro Gaming Expo. Can't go wrong. Portland, Oregon. And then the second week of November, really rad weekend in Dayton, Florida. Destin, Florida, not Dayton. Good lord. And then the weekend after that, Free Play, Florida. My first time at Free Play, Florida. So I'm going to have a fun time there. Going to use that weekend before to maybe do some game shopping, you know? Game hunting. Whatever. I don't know. My friend's bride. What? My brain's fried. It's 107 degrees. And my AC keeps crapping out on me because it's too hot. All right. Let's see if the Bright Boy did it. I hope it did. Be a generous, kind soul. I said be a generous, kind soul, not be a no, you know. So on this board you have these 2 chips, and this pretty much makes up the game. The other information is just there to help with, like, here's how it scrolls, here's how it operates. The game is going to be on these 2 chips. One of them is program, one of them is CHR. It's like the game's code, the game's characters, like graphics. And on those same 2 chips, the pins that hold them in place, you see all those little things sticking out and everything like that? Well, that's held in place with solder, and I'm going to use my hot soldering iron and touch up each of those pins. Sometimes it breathes like new life into them, you know, little cold solder points or something like that. I've heard that term used a couple of times. The idea being that sometimes it's like, you know, solder that's been on there for like 30 years or something like that, or solder, if you want to add the L, I guess. I've always called it solder. I've always heard it as solder until the internet came around. You know, it's like the little metal part, the solder part that helps with the information going to the pins, which goes to the little maze thingy, which goes to, you know, from the tip to the pin. And sometimes the solder is so old that it's just like just dead solder. It becomes almost like concrete versus metal as a conduit or conductor. So maybe sometimes touching them up kind of breathes new life into them. So we're going to see what we can do. You should use a thing that holds stuff in place and a magnifying glass or whatever, but if you're me and old school, I'm just going to do this and not burn myself, maybe. I have burned myself before and it sucks. You will feel it and you will definitely see it kind of melt. It turns into, like, you know, like little T2 action. Liquid metal. That's all I'm doing here. Just kind of breathing new life into these here old solder points. Don't have to spend too much time on it. You'll just, again, like I said, you'll definitely feel it and see it. This is one of the cleaner looking NES boards I've ever seen in my life, so I don't know if this is going to actually do it. Let's give it a shot. I haven't had a whole lot of success rate with doing this on NES games. I have, but not a lot. Game Boy games, especially like Game Boy Advance and stuff like that, you know, like classic Game Boy, you know, Game Boy Color for sure. Sometimes when I can't get Game Boy games to work by cleaning them, I'll try this, and it seems to work just fine afterwards. And that, again, not a 100% success rate, but may as well try it, you know, just to rule it out, you know what I mean? Rule out the possibility that, you know, could it be this? Well, we tried that, so it's not that. And the fact that nothing pops up in the first place, not a title screen, not the game, but, you know, garbled graphics or anything like that, that's always a little, you know, it's frustrating, especially for a game like this. You know, it happens to Pit Fighter for the Super Nintendo. You're just like, oh, good, you saved me the trouble of playing it ever again, you know? This pin here is missing solder completely. I don't see any on this. I'm actually going to add a little bit more. I'm going to add a little bit more solder to that one pin. For some reason, it didn't look like it was, you know, usually you can see, I don't even know if you're going to be able to see that. It's going to be this pin. Well, I can't even show you, but I'm going to see if I can zoom in here. Because with those things that are sticking out, you can see a little mound of solder. But one of them, not so much. So I'm just going to add a little bit, which I usually have a little bit of solder here, just for little things like this, where it's like, I just want to add a little bit more. I don't need to break out the whole spool. So here's hoping this is working, because, again, I want to save the game. So there's a spot right here. Nicely done. Got those fumes right in my face. That's perfect. Thank you for that. That's why I never smoked or anything during high school. It's like, why would I need to? Got all the fumes I need right here. I'll do that one again, too. There's one of them that looked a little off. Anyways, we'll do this one too. Who knows? Tried a 1-up card, tried a Bright Boy. We even added new solder after touching up all the solder points to just hopefully get it to work. That's all I want. Now work, please. Here we go. Now it's still not going to work. Oh, fine. All right, well, we tried it all the same, and if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments. You're awesome, and we'll do, hopefully, a success next time around.